The CFA franc is a currency created in 1945, December 26, 1945, by the French, which enables them to control the natural resources and the economic policies of any country using it. And there are 14 African countries that trade with this particular currency. Why is it so? Because they tie this particular currency to their treasury, to their economy, and it enables them to make more money, exploit the country, gain the natural resources, and become wealthier than any country that uses this currency. Now, this is another way of slavery and colonialism. Now, if you ask me, even these white men don't put value on these particular currencies they use. They use it to subject African countries to their needs. Now, on these dynamics, I could argue with you that these currencies these men trade with, they don't value it. For example, when African countries go to lend money from the whites, from World Bank, they are expected to pay back with natural resources, not the cash they were borrowed with interest or without interest. They are expected to pay back with natural resources. Why will you lend me money and expect me to pay back with something more valuable than money? There was a time in Mali when the Malians loaned money, I think from the French, and asked them to take a particular natural resource for 6 hours a day for a particular couple of years, for a particular amount of years. And the French went ahead to take this resource for 24 hours a day. It took them 6 months to find out. When they were approached, the French told them they changed the agreement on based on their own terms. How can you come to my land and choose to rule me on my own land? When I chose to fight back, you label me a thief, just as Ibrahim Traore, His Excellency Ibrahim Traore, President of Burkina Faso, has been labeled a thief because he chose to help his people. Yes, that is what the white do to you. On a potential path towards a greater African autonomy and establishment, if Africa should establish a particular unified currency that will hold them together just the way European nations did years back, you see that Africa's first form of liberation has been guaranteed. This particular idea is not my idea. It was the idea of late President Mohamed Gaddafi, former president of Libya. He said Africa needs a unified currency. Africa needs a unified military force to help them grow. The military force, I believe, is to secure Africa when the white men come backing like dogs. Because when you chose to take your freedom from these guys, they come back with war, labeling you a thief that you have been stealing from them, whereas they're the ones stealing from you. Africa needs to rise up. What we need is not external help. What we need is ourselves, embracing what we have, fighting for ourselves, delivering ourselves. Because the first form of encouragement that a man should request for is the one that comes from himself. Every other encouragement that comes from the outside without the self encouraging himself is nothing. It's like pouring water on metal, it's like pouring water on stone. So, with Africa having a unified currency, with Africa having a unified military force, with Africa having a central bank, a one central bank that governs the whole Africa, we will discover that there is a certain form of poverty